Today, on this 2009 Porsche Cayenne, we're replacing the front brake pads and rotors. And first things first, gotta take off the front wheels. And I'll show you why I'm doing the rotors. If you look in here, they've got a pretty decent lip on both sides. And the brake pads are also down to about 3 millimeters, and the brake pad warning light is on the dash. Now that we have the wheels off, the next step is to take this rod out so we can take the brake pads out and this bracket. Same thing on this side. And just as a precaution, I always leave wheels under the tire just in case the jack stands fail. Then it won't land on the rotors. So to get this pin out, I threaded in a 13 millimeter bolt, the bolt that was in here already, and tap on it. That'll pop it out from that side. And then we take off this bolt. And punch it out with one of these pin punches. And then once we have that out, we take this bracket out and the brakes, and then we take off the caliper from behind. Okay, and then if you can't take this off, just take off the sensor, because we're going to be replacing it anyway. So it doesn't really matter if you break it right now. There we go. Now I'm going to push the pistons back by getting a flathead in here and prying that way so we can get this pad out. And then for this one, flathead in this side, pry this way, and we can get this pad out. But before we do that, we gotta take the sensor off. So we're gonna pick, come in here, and take the tab back, and then pull it off. So, got my trusty flathead here. Gonna come in here, and just pry it off. I'll do the front ones first. Might take some time, but as you can see, it's coming off just fine. So now this pad will come off, and we just have to mess with the sensor, pull it off. There it is. This was getting grinded down with the rotor. That's why the light came on. So this is going to be trash once we take off the rest of it. Ooh. And now for this side, do the same thing. From the rotor, in. And from the rotor, in. And then pad comes out. These are the pads we're dealing with. I guess they don't look that bad, but they are still very low. So there's that. And these are the pistons I'm talking about in here. 1, 2, 3. Same thing on this side. And then for this, the rotor, we have a T50 bolt right here. Come here, T50 bit. And we gotta break it loose. There we go. This is what it looks like. Threads are still good. And just as a safety precaution, so it doesn't come off when I take the caliper off, thread one of these in, just a few threads. So if it does come out, this stops it. Now let's do the same thing on the other side. Take the brake pads out. Same thing, shock it a little bit and it should be good. Now that looked pretty easy because I broke it loose before I started the video. I forgot to video it. So now this comes out on the side, put a lug bolt in. Just a couple threads, and then come here, go into the rotor, and come forward. Go here, into the rotor, and forward. And then if you're lucky, you can pop off the sensor like this. Or not. Alright, there's one. This one was wearing uneven. And same thing on this side. Wow, this side's much lower than the other side. Oh yeah, and it's uneven. It's lower on this side than this side. That's not good. All right, and now, like I said, we gotta take off the sensor. First, we need to take it off the hook here for the brake bleeder nipple. So that cover comes off, and then I need to get a pick to come in here. Maybe I can do it this way. Yeah, no, that's not gonna happen. Okay, so let me get a pick and I'll show you what I mean. Here we have a 90-degree pick. Come in the backside here and pull it off. There we go. If you need some leverage, just pull on the wire once you have these two off the brake pads. So there's that side. Let me do the other side, passenger side. We have the wire still in the brake bleeder nipple here. So now that I have the pick, I'll use it to help me take it off. Get under it, there we go. So now, just like the other side, get in here and you can see this bit's moving. So that means the tab is up, and pull down. There we go. Might have to mess with it to get it off because it is pretty tight in this right here. So there we go. Both brake sensors are off. Now, next step is to take off the caliper with these two bolts, one here and one here. I believe they might be 22 millimeters, but let me go check and confirm. All right, that's a 21 millimeter. Oh, wow, okay. Okay, I got my breaker bar. Let's see if I can do it this way. I'm gonna try the top first, but me get some penetrant oil on here. All right, I'm using this penetrant oil called Croil. I've been using this for maybe over a year now, and it's much better than WD-40. It is a little bit more on the pricey side, but it gets the job done.
625829 or email contact.
All right, back at the tire. All right, there we go. I got a little more leverage now. Oh, that made it so much easier. Come on, get back on there. All right, now that we've broken it loose, we can go back to the 1/2-inch ratchet. And since this is a metal line, we want to be careful when we take off the caliper, not to mess with it too much. All right, there we go. Big boy. Now for the top. There we go. It's out. Now usually you wanna not let it hang, especially because it's a metal line. So I am going to put this back for now and find something to keep it propped up. And see, look, the rotor would have come off. So good thing I put this there. All right, there we go. I have another jack lifting it up so this doesn't get stressed. So now we can take this rotor off. There it is. Now I'm gonna clean this up a little bit with some sandpaper, or not sandpaper, some Scotch-Brite. And I'll slap the new one on. Okay, so here is our new rotor. Slap this guy on. Make sure we line up this hole with this bottom. Okay, now we can hand thread this in. And have it be held up with this guy. Thread this in as much as you can so it stays flush. Okay, and now, where is it? Over here. We can do this, tighten it up. Oops. Can do this way. Well, I guess I can tighten it up fully once I have the caliper on. I got some when he was on the other car. This side's ready for the pads to go in. I got the bolts in and snug with the breaker bar. And this side, we have an issue. When I was trying to get this in, the top bolt, the top one didn't want to go in straight. So my only option here is to take the caliper back off and get a tap and die set to re-thread that top bolt. The bottom one went in fine, but the top one is giving me issues. So I need to go to my local hardware store and grab a tap and die set. So to take off the bad threads and re-thread it, I took off the rotor again, and now I'm re-threading it with the proper tool. Gotta go in and out a couple times. And I'm spraying it with penetrant oil so it makes it clean. You never want to do this dry. I got really lucky that the place had it. Home Depot didn't, so I had to go to a different stop. And back out. And now we gotta check if the bolt goes in straight. All right, this is what we want to see. It's going in by hand. It's not catching. It's going in farther than what it was before when I was trying to do it with the caliper on. So that's good news. Now, put the rotor back on and try and get it on with the caliper being as straight as possible. Wheel has been moved, so now should be able to see where this bolt is going. So I got it on. One up top and one on the bottom. So now it's in. And now I'll start on the other side. Now we need to put the new brakes in here and put the new one here, and then push this one back after this new one is in to get these pistons back. I have the old one in here right now so I can pry on it without damaging the new ones. And then once that's in, we got the bracket and the pin and the sensors. So let's go ahead and do that. So here we go. I'm on the passenger side first so I can stay in the shade for a little bit. You're gonna use these guys. One in here. And that. And this is the brake lube I'm going to be using. Just need to put it on the edges. And then, don't really need to, but I'm going to put a little bit here in 3 spots where the pistons go. All right, there's one side. And now I'll do the same thing for this. Like butter. Now, get my sensor. Plug it into here first. It only goes one way. Come on. There we go. Make sure you hear a clip. Feed it into here. Make sure you also get it in here. And then this one goes here. And this one goes down here. If you're struggling to get it in, get a flathead and give it a gentle tap. Alright, so for this, you gotta make sure these flat bits are up and down so it fits into this groove. So I'm gonna make that adjustment right now, and then put this bolt in, and that's it for this side on brakes and rotors. Gotta do the same thing to the other side. Same thing on the driver's side. Come in here. Should be good enough. Let's do a test fit before I put the lube on. Alright, it fits. Don't have to take it out anymore. So now, I'm gonna put some of the lube back on. And let's wrap this up. Same process for the brake sensor. It only goes one way. And listen for the click. Now we gotta root it. Make sure we put it in here, and then through here, into there, and I'll put the bracket, and then over the bracket in that little hook, into there. While looking over the videos before posting these on YouTube, I noticed I made a mistake. These rotors, they're directional, so I just moved this one from the driver's side, and it's directional because, as you see, these veins inside, they're going that way. And it helps with the cooling of the rotor as you're driving. So it picks up air and cools the brakes. So now I'm gonna put these caliper back on and Just the same process as I've shown already. All right, there we go. Now we're back in business. This is how it should look. It's all tightened down. Now I just gotta put the wheels back on and torque them down to 75 foot-pounds and step on the brakes to squeeze the pistons back in to the brakes. Wheels are on. Now we need to step on the brakes to push the pistons back up against the brake pads. It'll be spongy at first, and then it'll get more stiff. I'd press it maybe about 3 times minimum. First one will go all the way down, and then 2 and 3 will get much more stiff. So now, need to down jack and torque the wheels to 75 foot-pounds, and that'll be it. And fix my issue.